Miley Cyrus's family has been going through a lot of drama recently, and her father Billy Ray has really been going through it with 2 divorces in the past 2 years. Now, Miley's parents, Billy Ray Cyrus and Tish Cyrus, were married for 30 years but called it quits for good in April 2022. Now, in November 2022, Billy Ray moved on from his marriage to an Australian singer whose legal name is Fire Rose. Now, he told People that the two met years ago on the Disney lot where he and Miley filmed Hannah Montana. Now, the weird thing about this couple is that she's only a couple years older than Miley. Now, they stayed in touch and started dating when he separated from Tish and went from musical soulmates to soulmates. Then, in October 2023, Billy married Fire Rose, but none of his children were in attendance at the wedding. Now, it didn't last long though, as in May 2024, less than a year after their wedding, according to People, Billy Ray filed for divorce from Fire Rose on May 22nd, citing irreconcilable differences and inappropriate marital conduct. Now we have Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ryan Anderson. Now, Gypsy Rose Blanchard has found online fame after being released from prison in December 2023. Now, while in prison, she was married to Ryan Anderson, but after she got out, things became complicated between the two. In 2020, Ryan sent Gypsy a letter in the mail, and they went back and forth exchanging letters. Then in June 2023, they obtained a marriage certificate and got married while she was still in prison. Now, 3 months after Gypsy was released though, she announced on Facebook that she split from Ryan. "Unfortunately, my husband and I are going through a separation and I moved in with my parents," she disclosed. "I have the support of my family and friends to help guide me through this. I'm learning to listen to my heart. Right now, I need time to let myself find who I am." In April, Gypsy filed for divorce and applied for a restraining order against Ryan. Now, they separated and she got back together with her ex-fiancé named Ken. Sacha Baron Cohen and Isla Fisher share 3 children together, but they announced their divorce in May after 14 years together. They put out a joint statement saying, "After a long tennis match lasting over 20 years, we're finally putting our rackets down," the pair announced in a joint Instagram story statement on April 5th. "In 2023, we jointly filed to end our marriage. We've always prioritized our privacy and have been quietly working through this change." They went on to note that they will forever share in our devotion and love for our children, adding, "We sincerely appreciate you respecting our family's wish for privacy." Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott have had many ups and downs during their relationship. Now, they met in 2005 while filming a movie together and they cheated on their partners. They then got married in 2006 and had 5 children together, but they hit a bump in the road when Dean got caught in an affair over Christmas in 2013 while promoting his gig as host of Chop Canada. The day after Christmas, we learned that he met then 28-year-old Emily Goodhand at the Fairmont Royal York Hotel for a 2-day fling. In January, he then checked himself into rehab to address some health and personal issues, he said in a statement to People. Now, the infidelity was addressed later in the year on the family's new reality show, True Tori. "I feel shame. I've never felt shame before," he said on his transgressions. "You were at a Christmas event and I was effing around. That's disgusting. That's disgusting." Now, later that year, Tori confirmed that the two were working through their issues. "It's something that's going to take time to get through," she told People. KJ Apa and Clara Berry confirmed their relationship with an Instagram photo on February 3rd, 2020. Then, in September 2021, the pair welcomed their first child, Sasha. Now, they post each other all lovingly all over social media, but it appears that everything isn't as they seem, as the couple has now split. Fans started to speculate by December 2023 that they had split when Clara and KJ stopped posting pictures of each other on social media. While Appa has not yet acknowledged his split from Berry, the two appear to be on good terms. Now, after dating for 4 years, Clara confirmed their split in February. "I think it's better to have parents who are separated, who are happy, and who can be the best versions of themselves than staying together in a situation that's not working," the model said in a social media Q&A. "I'm not with my son 50% of the time and therefore won't know 50% of his life. That's something that's hard to accept." Ellie Goulding and Casper Joffling's relationship began in 2017 after meeting at a dinner with friends in New York. Now, just after a year after they met, the smitten couple announced their engagement in August 2018 with a post in the Times. "I get to spend the rest of my life with this truly extraordinary and beautiful, beautiful person," Casper later wrote on social media after popping the question. "No one has ever made me feel more of life, knowledge, happiness, or love. Hope, passion, confidence, and more love." Now, they got married on August 31st, 2019, and they then welcomed their first child together in April 2021. But last year, it was reported that Ellie and Casper had been spending time apart due to their hectic schedules. The rumors first emerged in July 2023, with Ellie being spotted without her wedding rings weeks later. Then this year in February, Ellie announced via social media that she and Casper privately separated some time ago. Now, Harry Styles and Taylor Russell were first linked in June 2023, but they kept their relationship pretty low-key. They were spotted going to each other's events, Taylor to Harry's concerts, and Harry going to her plays, as well as being seen out and about with each other. At the beginning of May this year, sources told People that Styles and Russell are getting fairly serious and have the same interests. Now, the insider also noted that the couple have traveled together and spent time in England. But just a couple weeks later, Page Six confirmed on May 20th that Harry Styles and Taylor Russell called it quits after 1 year of dating. They went through a rough patch after their trip to Japan in April and are taking some time apart, a source told The Sun, adding that the singer and actress's relationship became strained recently. Now, Chance the Rapper and Kristen Corley first met each other in 2003 when they were both 9 years old. Now, after 9 years, in 2012, they met again at the South by Southwest Film Festival in Austin, Texas. They reconnected and they went back home to Chicago, and shortly after, in 2013, they began dating. In September 2015, they welcomed their first daughter, and in February 2016, they broke up briefly, but later reconciled. On July 4th, 2018, Chance proposed to Kristen at a family barbecue in Chicago, and then on March 9th, 2019, they got married and welcomed their second daughter on August 29th, 2019. But they then decided to split this year. Kristen announced on Instagram that they decided to divorce after 5 years of marriage. "After a period of separation, the two of us have arrived at the decision to part ways," the mom of two wrote on her Instagram stories. Now, Natalie Portman and Benjamin Millepied met back in 2009 when Benjamin was recruited to choreograph Black Swan and trained Natalie in ballet. They began to fall for each other, and by the time filming wrapped, they were dating. Just a year later, they were engaged and expecting their first child. After welcoming their son in 2011, they tied the knot in a coastal California ceremony. Now, they later welcomed a daughter in 2017, but the pair quietly finalized their divorce in February after 11 years of marriage, Natalie's rep confirmed to People. Now, the Black Swan star secretly filed for a dissolution over the summer in France, where she lives with her 2 children. The divorce came after Page Six broke the news that the choreographer had allegedly cheated on Natalie with "It was short-lived and it is over," a source told People. And finally, we have Bobby and Corey Althoff. Bobby Althoff's husband, Corey, filed for divorce from the podcaster in early February, months after she was forced to shut down rumors that she hooked up with Drake. Now, according to the dissolution of marriage obtained by Page Six, Corey cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for the split. Corey asked for joint legal and physical custody of the kids, and interestingly, the tech executive listed the date of separation as July 4th, 2023, the same month Drake was a guest on Bobby's The Really Good podcast.
After Billy Ray Cyrus split from his wife Tish in July of 2022, he moved on with singer Fire Rose, who he initially met while on the set of Hannah Montana. Fire Rose, for her part, was a guest star on the show when she was just 22. The pair, who have a 27-year age difference, worked together as music collaborators before getting engaged in November of 2022. Now Billy is breaking his silence after a private conversation between him and his now estranged wife was publicly leaked. On July 24th, the country star used social media to address an audio recording that went viral. By the way, they're in the middle of a divorce. Pretty messy one. Cyrus claimed, "Everything I thought I knew about her was a lie," alleging that Fire Rose was trying to take over his career, his life, use his name for her own gain, and then he concluded that post by warning her he would see her in court. From bumps in the road to baby bumps, Cardi B and Offset's relationship has been quite the roller coaster ride. It began, I believe, in early 2017 and has since brought cheating scandals, a secret marriage, some offspring, and some hot collaborative tracks. So these two got secretly married on September 20th of 2017, before the rapper proposed to her on stage at Power 99's Powerhouse concert in Philadelphia on October of that same year. According to the Fulton County Magistrate in Georgia, Cardi filed for divorce from Offset nearly 3 years later on September 15th. The two eventually got back together weeks later, but let's fast forward to this year, right? Cardi's rep confirmed to some news outlets in the beginning of August that she filed for divorce from Offset, asking for primary custody of Culture and Wave. And at the same time, she confirmed that she was pregnant with her third baby. Rest in peace, Hailor 2.0. While Taylor Russell and Harry Styles dated for 14 months, they are one of the latest celebrity couples on the chopping block. According to news outlets, they took a make-or-break trip to Tokyo earlier this year and then called it quits the following month. An insider told news outlets that Harry's been in America and she's been in London. They made a lovely couple and it was obvious that Taylor made Harry happy, but things got strained and then they took some time out. Harry has a history of cheating on his partners, most notably one Taylor Swift, so I'm getting deja vu. Anybody else? Sam Raimi and Gillian Green are a longtime couple that sadly called it quits this year. Green filed for divorce from the Spider-Man director back in May after 30 years of marriage, according to court documents obtained by news outlets. While Raimi and Green's marriage date is listed as September 17th of 1993, their date of separation was listed as TBD. The filing showed that Green requested that the court award her spousal support and terminate Raimi's ability to receive alimony. She was also requesting that Raimi cover her attorney fees. Leah Remini and Angelo are amicably moving forward with their divorce after more than 2 decades of marriage. The entrepreneur filed a response, which was obtained by People earlier this month, to his estranged wife's divorce filing. So both of them have requested that the court deny spousal support for both parties. And then they've also indicated irreconcilable differences as the grounds for divorce, and named August 1st as the date of separation, which was cited in the filings. The public statement read, "After a lot of effort and consideration, we've decided to take this step, which reflects who we are today. Our bond is still strong, it's just evolved into something different. We think a marriage that lasted this long and created so many beautiful memories, especially raising our incredible daughter, is something to celebrate. From our perspective, this marriage was a huge success. We want to be as transparent as we can be here, because for years we shared our marriage so publicly. Whether it was on our specials on VH1 or our reality show airing for 2 seasons on TLC, we are sharing this unknown territory with you all as we take our first steps into this next stage of our lives publicly." The duo first met back in 1996 when somebody was performing at a Cuban club and somebody else walked in. The couple later wed in 2003 and welcomed a daughter on June 16th of 2004, and there's plenty of other offspring as well from previous relationships. Rumor Willis and Derek Richard Thomas have sadly called it quits. On August 22nd, Willis revealed she was no longer with her boyfriend as she answered fans' questions in an uncensored Ask Me Anything on her Instagram stories. Somebody was like, "Are you and Derek still a couple?" And then Rumor was like, "Nope, I am single momming it and co-parenting." "I'm so grateful for Lou," she said, and that was like her 16-month-old daughter, by the way, who the duo welcomed together on April 18th of 2023. She said, "She's the best thing in my life. I am forever grateful I was able to have the time in that relationship for her to come into my life." Now, it's not exactly known when Rumor, who by the way is the daughter of Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, and Thomas first started dating, but it's thought that they've been in a relationship since like 2022, because in December of that year was when they confirmed they were expecting that daughter, which oh well. Rachel Walters, 90 Day Fiancé alum, confirmed in May that she and her husband split after 7 years of marriage. She said, "It absolutely pains me to post this. This isn't the update we wanted to share. This was all said in an Instagram reel. This isn't the ending we were hoping for, nor is it the finale we were thinking would happen. Long-distance relationships can be brutal on the toughest of couples." Rachel added that the pair had attempted to get John a visa, but were not successful, which led to their decision to call it quits. She said, "We have unfortunately grown too far apart. The decision has been made on our end to not continue. The visa journey is sadly over. It's the end of an era and was not an easy decision to have to make. Please give us the privacy and time to adjust to our new reality." Samantha Cope is speaking out about the allegations emerging amid her ongoing divorce from Joey Lawrence. Reps confirmed on August 21st that Cope filed for divorce after 2 years of marriage, requesting sole physical custody of their daughter Dylan. Now, Lawrence shares his eldest daughters, Charleston and Liberty, with his ex-wife, Chandy Yon Nelson. Trust me, that'll be relevant later. The actor shared a statement after Lawrence claimed they had a deeply troubled marriage, and his daughters, by the way, Charleston and Liberty, were not accepted by Cope. "As a mother who values her daughter above all else, I find these false accusations deeply troubling," Cope shared in a statement. "I am confident that the truth is known to me, to Joey, and to God. I am choosing to put my focus on healing, caring for my daughter, and processing the loss of my marriage and my family." Lawrence also claimed in his earlier statement that the pair's short-lived marriage was fraught with difficulties from the beginning and their differences became insurmountable, while also denying having a physical relationship with co-star Melina Alves while filming their movie Socked In for Christmas. Turns out that shortly after the divorce news broke, a source close to the family told news outlets that Lawrence allegedly had an affair with Alves. The source claimed that the two had a working relationship and were partners on a couple of things. And he knew she was also going through a divorce. He was very empathetic to her situation and called her collateral damage when it comes to all of this. Another source later told news outlets that Lawrence and Cope's separation helped improve the actor's relationship with his loved ones and mend his co-parenting relationship with Chandy Yon Nelson. Because once they split, things got exponentially better between him and his ex-wife and their girls. Joey's strong in his faith, so he's trying to take it all in stride, but he's very disappointed and upset about how all of this has turned out. News outlets confirmed on August 23rd that Linda Reese filed for divorce from TV judge Greg Mathis after 39 years of marriage. She cited, my favorite, irreconcilable differences as the reason for the breakup and is seeking spousal support. They share a number of offspring, and I wish them the best. Jill Martin, who announced her breast cancer diagnosis last July, is parting ways from her husband Eric Brooks after marrying in September of 2022, not even a year after her diagnosis, which has undoubtedly been tough to navigate for both on multiple levels. A source told news outlets that the pair is quietly divorcing, and this has been confirmed. Jill is focused on getting healthy and making a difference. She's been launching a lot of new initiatives, and she's starting a new business, so go Jill! Cameron and Vanessa Matheson announced their plans to divorce back in July, saying that after 22 years of marriage, we have made the difficult decision to part ways. We enter this new chapter with deep love, kindness, and respect for each other. This was in a joint Instagram statement. They said, "We hold gratitude in our hearts for the wonderful years we shared together. Our children have been and will continue to be our highest priority, and we will forever share in our devotion and love for them." When it comes to observing couple behavior, the powers that be must have had a sense of humor to ask me, the long-term office single Pringle, to do it. Nevertheless, I did my best, did some sleuthing, and I'm here to present y'all with my findings. So earlier this week, on March 20th to be specific, Megan Fox made an appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast, which in recent history has really been a hotbed for celebrity confessions. The one thing Megan was very clear about while on said podcast was that her romance with MGK will no longer play out in the public eye. And then she attempted to play the no comment card in a very cryptic way. If you're asking me, I think that the comment suggests they're no longer engaged. For anybody scratching their heads over the starlet's vague relationship update, she confessed that she can see how it's confusing for the public to understand, otherwise known as, "Go girl, give us nothing." Okay, how about this for proof? They apparently went through this massive fight and rough patch just last December. To be specific, on December 5th and 6th, both People and US Weekly ran reports from sources revealing that things weren't going too well. A source close to the couple told People that they had yet another big fight. It's always the same thing, they have severe trust issues in the relationship. It's been rough, but they're still trying to work through it. Whereas US Weekly kinda had some similar comments. Megan and Coulson have had a very up and down relationship. They're great one day and then fighting with each other the next. They love each other and have passion in droves, but that passion goes both ways. Apparently, they're still trying to work through their issues and work on how they communicate, but both of them have such fiery personalities that it's been a struggle. Well, that doesn't sound very optimistic. It sounds like they've needed third-party help a lot, according to my research. And while I'm not about to shame anybody for getting much-needed therapy, I'm right up there too, it ponders the question of just how solid a monogamous relationship can be if they constantly require someone to help them put out fires. A source spoke to Entertainment Tonight on February 11th about how these two are managing the relationship, saying, "Megan and MGK have their ups and downs, as most couples do. They love so hard that sometimes things can be intense, but ultimately they do their best to hear one another and better themselves. They both want a happy, loving, supportive, and honest relationship. They sought third-party help in order to help repair things. Therapy and open communication play pivotal roles in the relationship dynamics, with the couple prioritizing constructive dialogue and personal growth. Seeking guidance from a trusted third party allows them to navigate challenges and strengthen their bond, fostering an environment where mutual understanding thrives. They like to share their thoughts and feelings in a controlled environment with a trusted third party to ensure everyone is heard. It's also a good way for them to develop plans to ensure a healthy future as individuals and as a couple." Which sounds all fine and dandy on paper, but I have a feeling this is a sign things are over. Once again, that's a lot of support you need from somebody that isn't your partner. Here's a curious question. So why didn't they go to any Grammy parties this year? The rapper wasn't nominated for an award this year because his last studio album, Mainstream Sellout, was released in 2022. He did receive a nomination for Best Rock Album at the 2023 Grammys, but lost to Ozzy Osbourne. Which, it's Ozzy. Even though the album did receive quite a few accolades, MGK did express some frustration with how his music was being received, especially the accusations that he had stepped away from rap. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter in November of 2022, he stated, "I'm talented as F, and I added on to my catalog of 4 great rap albums. So what I did was I added on, never departed, left, or switched." But here's the thing, so yes, he wasn't nominated this year, but not being nominated is no excuse to not go to any of the after parties. I saw Keke Palmer looking absolutely fabulous at one of them, and she's never been nominated for a single Grammy. Come on, folks. In the same vein, if you will, and if you got that reference, gold star for you, the duo hasn't really been spotted together a lot this year. According to the timeline that Elle magazine so graciously put together, Kelly and Fox spent New Year's Eve together, since the pair was photographed in Aspen, Colorado, all bundled up for the cold weather on New Year's Eve, and it was a frosty one this year. But no other public appearances in January. Zilch, zip, nada. On February 12th, they had their first big night out of the year, attending a Super Bowl after party together. They were photographed partying with Taylor Swift and her lovely beau, which is a very smart PR move if you ask me. Fast forward a month later, March 4th, they touched down in Mexico for a romantic getaway. They stayed at an exclusive tropical resort, photographed by paparazzi upon their arrival, but that's it. That's all we got for a couple of months. It's a little slim pickings for the couple that is so apparently in love, so I'm calling breakup. Back I go to a point that I made earlier, they've been off and on, which is not a good track record for couples. Megan's had a bit of a history with this, and she and her now ex-husband were also on again, off again. And well, I did say ex-husband, didn't I? The only thing we know for sure was when the engagement got called off last year, and then they got back together. But I got a feeling they're on the rocks again. Pardon me, I'm gonna be a little redundant for a second and elaborate on last year's breakup. Rumors about a possible split between the pop punk star and the actress kinda swirled around for a little while after Megan posted a cryptic message to her Instagram on February 12th, quoting lyrics from Beyonce's 2016 Lemonade song, "Pray You Catch Me." Hours after that post, she deactivated her Instagram altogether. What was the caption? "You can taste the dishonesty, it's all over your breath." To further ignite the split rumors, she deleted all photos and videos with MGK on Insta. And then all but confirms this year that the engagement is off? Girl, I'm sorry to say it, but things are not looking good. Okay, I'll change gears for a moment and focus more on MGK instead of Megan, because I'm a big believer that in any situation, the truth is always somewhere in the gray area between story A and story B. The singer-songwriter dropped the new song Don't Let Me Go and its accompanying music video on Wednesday, February 21st. So, about a month ago. The track features very, very heartfelt confessions, from MGK's life-ending thoughts to his lover's heartbreaking. The video is currently racking up a lot of views on YouTube. I think it's had over 700,000 people watching him re-embrace his rapping skills, which, heck yes. The 33-year-old speaks of a challenging period in his life, with the opening lyrics addressing his mental health. "Lately my thoughts eating me alive, laid in the bed thinking maybe the hate will finally go away if I'm not alive." And he does some things in the video that I can't talk about, but they were suggestive. I'm not going to talk too much about it's absolutely awful, but it's definitely something that could take a toll on a relationship. I'm just saying. Remind me again how long they've been technically engaged? Or committed to each other? Right, a year. Now, I know in terms of celebrity engagements, that's pretty par for the course, but why haven't they set a wedding date yet? If these two are truly twin souls, and that's a direct quote from Megan there, we heard that on the podcast earlier this week, then why haven't they rushed into the commitment of marrying each other already? I feel like there's something else we don't know about this duo. Might it be, pardon me here, a PR relationship? Or a situationship that they felt pressured into making it look like there's more? You know my take by now, dear viewers. This relationship is dead in the water. It's a little out there in terms of theories, but I feel like MGK's crazy tattoo might be a sign. So back in February, he dropped this new look on Instagram, and in pictures you could see that the black ink saturates virtually half of his upper body, with some of his original inkings peeking through strategically placed paneled gaps down his arms and in between a cross symbol across his chest. That kind of ink takes a lot of time to do, and what a crazy thing to do in my opinion. This man had so many tattoos on his upper body before that he looks like a cross between a sticker book and an Etch-a-Sketch. To darken all of that out and cover it up, I have questions. His decision to undergo this transformation was apparently a deeply personal one. According to his tattoo artist, apparently he had a spiritual consultation. We were told he explained to his artist that all of his tats were too chaotic for him now and he was seeking change and order in his life.
Well, Kendall Jenner and the artist Bad Bunny have finally split, despite only getting together a few months ago. According to some random news articles popping up this morning, two people who we could all probably care less about have decided to go their separate ways. Now, for some reason, this is news, so let's handle it. A company called People Magazine cites sources who claim that two mega ultra superstars have apparently called it quits, although there is no context, explanation, or situation that really explains it. The two have been photographed together out and about at various nightclubs, restaurants, picnics in the park. Maybe not that last one, it doesn't really seem like Bad Bunny's style. Over the past few days, paparazzi have spotted Kendall out and about all by herself. Now, many people claim that she looks exceedingly single as there's no sign of Bunny anywhere, which has apparently been the case for over a month now. According to the most reputable news source there is, TMZ, this dude's been MIA in LA for a hot minute. That is a direct quote. Pure genius right there. The last time the two were actually spotted together was at a breakfast place in Beverly Hills. MIA in LA, breakfast in Beverly Hills. Am I crazy or are those good song titles? This was after the big Halloween bash, and before that day, these two were inseparable. They appeared all over LA and sometimes not in LA. Well, there are other places that exist. What's funny about the outings is that they seem to be coordinating their exits so that they're never actually pictured together. How great would it be if these two have not been dating at all? People just saw them together once and were like, you're dating now. Facts are that Kendall and Bunny have never actually come out and said, hey, we're a couple. She's never actually gone Instagram official, which is the big sign that something is not right. What a world we live in. They appeared in some Gucci campaigns together, but that was very corporate and work related. It wasn't really a couple out on a date. There have been some intimate moments between the two, like when they were spotted on horseback riding through the countryside together, Bunny holding tight while Kendall took the reins. There were only 6 casualties that day, including the horse. They seemed like they were on track to be a happy couple for a long time, but now they have split. A tale as old as time. The rumors that they were a couple date back to February, but many speculate that it could have been way before that. Earlier this year, the musician, known as Bad Bunny, was spotted on a night out with his boo-boo Kendall, the youngest of the Kardashian clan. Now, these two were seen together having a little tiff at a Lakers game, of all places. The two were sitting courtside wearing the skin of their enemies on their boots, aka snakeskin, and while the game was mostly filled with smiles and happiness, there was a moment before the game got too heated where it looks like the couple might not be as close as people thought they were. In a short clip taken from the game, Bad Bunny leans in close to Kendall and he whispers something that makes her face go from, ooh, I love basketball, to, this isn't the time or place. Now, at first the speculation was that there was an uncomfortable question being asked and then people moved on, but the way that Bunny's mouth is shaped, it looks like that he just had bad breath and Kendall was getting a whiff of it. The rest of the game was okay and they had a good time, but their faces were never that close again. Oh, right, the whole real reason thing. Well, I don't know. That was just to get you to click the video. I appreciate your interest and I'm sorry to say that that is the extent of my knowledge onto why they've broken up. To be perfectly honest, the only reason I know who Bad Bunny is because of his performance in Bull Let Train as the wolf. He's in the movie for like 10 minutes, but he steals the show. I also know him from his gig hosting Saturday Night Live a few months back, and if you've made it this far in the video and love Bad Bunny, just go watch that episode. I have to say he did a great job. But in total, honestly, I just don't know why Kendall and Bunny broke up, or even if they actually did. So instead of droning on for 10 minutes trying to squeeze out every ounce of gossip I can, let's instead just talk about the Kardashian family as a whole. There are many mistakes, their failed business plans, and much more. If that sounds good to you, drop a like down below and please follow our channel if you haven't already. So let's get going. So what are some bad Kardashian moments? Well, let's talk about like the time the family went grave shopping on their show. Now, window shopping isn't weird. We all love to mindlessly walk around a store that we know well and good we will be purchasing nothing from. But the Kardashian family doesn't go to Hot Topic. Or maybe they do. I live in Canada and I haven't seen them yet. Instead, this family likes to window shop for coffins and grave plots. During an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, momager Kris Jenner decided that the best gift that she could give her kids was a nice, comfortable place to keep their lifeless husks tucked away when they pass. Kris and the crew spend the day trying to decide what model of coffin they wish to purchase, with Kris going so far as to actually getting in one to see if it's cozy. Hey, if you're trying to get cozy in your coffin, you're still alive. Bang on that lid. On top of shopping for physical coffins, she also took her kids on a tour of a graveyard that seemed to boast some pretty stellar plots. There is such a serious conversation over the choice of in the ground or in a mausoleum made of marble. Which one do you think they went with? Then of course there is the more candid moment moments on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like following a brief discussion on the practice of eating the stuff that comes out after we're born. Yeah, that's a thing. Kim and Kourtney decided to hatch a plot where they would trick their family into thinking they had just eaten placenta. There, I'm only saying it once. That was the stuff. The sisters go through an elaborate preparation and brag to their family about the mystery meat they have purchased. As the evening goes on, they continue to plant the seeds right up until the forks are plunged into the meat. Following the meal, they decided that it was the perfect time to tell their family they just dined on the stuff. Of course, their immediate reaction is disgust and anger, wouldn't we all be? At the same time, don't eat mystery meat, especially if it's cooked by Kim Kardashian. That is a disaster waiting to happen. That could be an actual person for all we know. Kim's wild. They let the prank play out for some time, with Caitlyn Jenner almost blowing her chunks all over the table. But after a few moments of panic, they let it slip that the meat they had just eaten was actually brisket. But needless to say, Kim is no longer in charge of family dinner night. Now, Kendall is not just known for her ability to get in and out of relationships or for being on a reality show, she's actually also known for her acting abilities. Now, sponsored brand deals can mean a lot of money for the people involved. Just look at every cologne on the planet. They hire someone to stand on a beach for 30 seconds and they make $1 million. Around 2017, Kendall Jenner decided to partner with the soda brand Pepsi to create a commercial that would act as both an ad and a PSA against hate. The commercial consisted of hundreds of people from different parts of the world drinking Pepsi, and eventually everyone comes together on the streets of what looks like New York, and Kendall looks to the crowd, wipes off her makeup, and follows suit. Now, the cringe comes when the crowd of people appear to be at a standoff with the police. Kendall walks through the crowd and gives an officer a can of Pepsi. He sips it, and everybody cheers before they swarm the cops, who are suddenly just cool with everything that's happening. The ad was meant to be a political statement following the passing of several African American men and women in the United States, aiming to bring people together, which it did, but for the wrong reasons. The world collectively cringed at this absolute mess, forcing Kendall to drop an apology video on that season's premiere of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She may have apologized, but we're never gonna forget that weird brand deal. Now, apart from cringy commercials and television moments, did you know that the Kardashians are kind of terrible people? Who would have guessed? Especially to the people that they employ. Kim Kardashian is arguably the most famous of her Kardashian sisters, and apparently she's also the busiest. For example, she has 4 kids, a skincare line, Skims brand, she's attending law school, she co-founded an equity team, and she recently hopped on the podcast train in addition to filming that new show on Hulu. Now, you may be asking yourself, how does one woman do all of that by herself? Well, she pays people to do it for her. Secret spilled. She has multiple assistants and nannies to help her stay above the overwhelming workload, but has been known to treat them as lesser than herself. For instance, on several occasions, Kim and her daughter North would be out to lunch, accompanied by their nanny. But Kim makes her not only sit at a separate table, just really far away from them at the restaurants, but she's also known to make her nannies walk like 10 feet away from her at all times. Unless she has multiple people with her, and then she likes to make them walk in like a flying V formation, because I guess she's a fan of Mighty Ducks. If they walk near her or attempt to walk side by side, she blows up on them behind closed doors. Needless to say, she's had many nannies over the years and has probably made them all cry at least once. But while Kim may not be the best boss in the world, it's actually Kourtney who is known by far to be the worst Kardashian to work for. Not only is she a neat freak, needing every single thing to be exactly where it should be, but she's also known for being surprisingly cheap, even once calling a grocery store while she was shopping to compare the prices of a chicken breast, cause hey, if anyone needs that extra 99 cents, it's Kourtney Kardashian. But this isn't the worst thing that she's done. At one time, Kourtney's daughter had bitten a nanny so hard that she actually had to quit, but instead of letting it go and taking responsibility for, not teaching her daughter how to act properly, she berated the nanny and told her that she should have said something to her daughter. Cause yes, blame the woman who you're paying to raise your kid instead of the kid itself, who probably has abandonment issues. Now, the worst by far though of everyone in the family is Kylie. In 2019, she partnered with a company called Ulta that allowed her to sell her line of skincare and beauty products in their stores rather than just in pop-ups or online. And this is unfortunate considering the true nature of where these products come from. A lot of employees at the factories that mix and package these makeup and beauty products have reported that they were never given proper safety equipment, that you would need to do the job. They were only given hairnets, lab coats, and safety goggles, leaving their hands and faces completely exposed, and workers would regularly report migraines and chemical burns on their hands. If this isn't bad enough, they were also forced to act as human test subjects for Kylie's new products. Now, she has always been very proud of the fact that her company does not test products on animals, but I think we can all agree that doing it on people is like way worse. Not only did they not have proper safety equipment and were basically used as human test subjects whenever Kylie wished, but the factory itself is a small, cramped one with many employees claiming that there were too many workers and not enough space. This description sounds very similar to, a sweatshop, which is a word describing a workplace in which the employees work ridiculous hours in brutal conditions for nearly nothing for pay, and many employees agree with that statement. One former tester recounts having to constantly go back and forth as her anxiety was just always through the roof, having to be around so many people in such a terrible work environment. At one point a few years back, Kylie even refused to pay her employees at a garment factory in Bangladesh, leaving thousands of employees with no money and no idea when or if they would return to work.
Ariana Grande has no tears left to cry about negative rumors surrounding her relationship with Ethan Slater. But is that because the SpongeBob Bang and Pop princess has left him high and dry? I mean, with Ariana, it's more of a question of when, not if, that she'll leave Ethan. Listen, hater or lover, she's a serial dater who has a preference for men who are in relationships when she meets them. There is something programmed into that girl, like there is in many traumatized women, where she needs to feel the superiority of taking someone's significant other from them, of feeling like an alpha woman, better than that girl, It's sad, and she clearly has some things she needs to work on within herself to get past this and find happiness with partners that aren't chosen just for the love of the game. That's why Ariana gets bored and moves on quickly, cheating more often than not as well. It's kind of become her shtick, but it wasn't until the not conventionally handsome Ethan Slater was her choice that people actually cared. When it was Big Sean, Mac Miller, Pete Davidson that she was home wrecking, they're good looking. Since 2014, Ariana has been pervasively pursuing married or tied down men to take as her new boo. And that's why the public has now branded her a homewrecker. Someone who has physical relations with someone who is in a relationship and they do it knowing about the person's spouse. Ariana knew, stop trying to defend her, even if you love her, we should genuinely bring back shame a little, guys. Especially given that Ariana knew the spouse of her recent boyfriend, Ethan Slater, so well, they were friends of their own accord. She even held their newborn baby. And then a couple days after that newborn baby is, popped out, Ethan drops divorce papers on his nursing wife's lap and left her to be with Ariana, who has since served her husband, Dalton Gomez, papers 3 days prior to them first being seen as a couple. And a particularly repulsive looking one at that, no offense. This isn't Ariana's first home-wrecking rodeo. In 2013, she and Mac Miller had an affair while he was still with his long-term partner, Nomi Leisure. Nomi left Mac because of it, who fights hard to get her back, much to Ariana's fury. So she goes and bangs Big Sean in the meantime, breaking up his engagement with Naya Rivera. After doing so, in 2016, she returns to having an affair with Mac Miller, which then ends him and Nomi Leisure for actual good. When she's done using Mac, or more accurately, he becomes too hard to date, in 2018, she dumps him and is seen with Pete Davidson the same week, because as Ariana once admitted, she wanted to make Mac jealous, even though she cheated on him with Pete, who in the meanwhile had just cheated on his long-term partner with Ariana, Cassie David, and dumped her over text the day before he was seen with Ariana. And then after Pete, well, she meets Dalton. She stays with him for a few years and naturally cheats on him with a married man. Because despite what Ethan Slater and Ariana's PR teams are pushing about them both being single when they got together, the couple was having a sloppily public and obvious affair on the set of Wicked, being witnessed holding hands, even kissing before either party was separated, let alone divorced from their partner. Then Ariana goes and releases that single and the subsequent album about breaking up a family, wherein she acts like she's the victim, talks about healing herself and finding new love. Gotta say, if Ariana has anything, it's balls and audacity. But this is just part of her unfortunate insecurity pattern, which is another dooming red flag for the couple outside of Ethan's own issues as well, which we'll get to. One of the keys is Ariana likes a man who has recently split from his partner or still with her because they're more likely to offer commitment. To quote, Ariana might be looking to get into a long-term relationship and has fallen into the pattern of dating men who have just come out of relationships because she knows that they will be more likely to commit, as they'll be looking to fill the void of their ex-girlfriends, Noble explained. When people come out of relationships, they're a lot more vulnerable. They often want someone to take the place of their ex and will be more likely to jump into a relationship without hesitation. Starting a new relationship in order to numb the pain and loneliness from a breakup is a common alternative people choose instead of taking the time to heal and figure out what's best for them, Noble concludes. London-based Haley also offered some insights into why Ariana may gravitate towards men who have possibly not given themselves enough time to get over their exes, stating that firstly, even when people seem to have it all, that doesn't always equate to good self-esteem, she said, and that while outsiders may view the songstress as a woman who can have any partner she chooses, Ariana herself may not hold herself to high enough standards for the men that she dates. She also explained that just like many other people, Ariana could be prone to rushing into a relationship as soon as someone expresses any interest, rather than having the self-esteem to step back and really look at what they offer as a partner, and if they truly even like that person at all. Given the speed at which she and Ethan have progressed, this isn't too outlandish of a theory. People can rush into relationships when, deep down, they feel insecure about being alone. They can become addicted to the exciting first stages of romance and simply overlook any red flags in their new partner, Quinn explains, to finally be able to be together rather than a warning sign about their untrustworthiness. Ultimately, all long-term relationships have confront periods of mundanity, which is usually the point in which Ariana loses interest again. She gets bored, she pursues another affair. To quote Quinn, you build a relationship based on mutual values, shared relationship goals, and respect for one another. If you rely on needing excitement or uncertainty to feel romantically connected to someone, your relationships will be short-lived. In reality, chasing the high of excitement with a new love interest is actually a fantastic way to stop you from being really emotionally intimate and connected with someone. Now, on the flip side of insecurity and deep psychological meaning behind Ariana Grande, even if she doesn't necessarily do the traditional Ariana cheat and leave after getting bored with Ethan, she built a relationship off of mutual cheating with him, which doesn't indicate a healthy foundation on Ethan's end either. But at least with Ariana we understand the source: insecurity, issues. With Ethan, well, for those who don't know, Grande and Slater met on the set of the upcoming Wicked, and Grande began a close friendship with Slater and his estranged wife Lily J. She frequently liked their social media posts, she was seen hanging out with the family of three, with Lily J only learning about Slater's romance with Grande a few days before the news broke to the world. That's also when she found out she'd been cheated on during the first months of her son's life. Ethan Slater's estranged wife shared her only public comments in the wake of their separation, and they were simply that Grande is the story really, she called her not a girl's girl, and Jay then added, my family is just collateral damage. The story is her and Dalton. And that's true. When partners leave, it's not because they were stolen. No one can steal anyone from you. They can make themselves available and make it known that they are. That's why Ariana's isn't a girl's girl. She knew the man was married and put out for him anyways when he wanted it back. But Ethan was the one who hurt his family. He's the one that walked out. That's why it's actually important to look to him on how the relationship can be affected by anyone's actions within it. Ariana's cheated and home-wrecked and done a lot of things, but she's never had a kid with anyone, let alone walk out on that person and that kid in the very first months of that child's life and shortly after their 10-year marriage anniversary. Even she has a line. That takes a different kind of mentality than the understandable insecurity of a former Disney child star. That takes cruelty. It takes complete ego. You genuinely have to only care about what you want and what your little man wants. We have plenty of examples from 2023 alone outside of Ethan Slater. We got Jeremy Allen White, Barry Keoghan, and John Mulaney. So talk about yikes. But if you're wondering why you haven't heard about those male celebrities doing that to their wives, the way that Ethan Slater's name is everywhere for doing that, as you can see, there's been no end to messy speculation for this pair. Headlines reading, Ariana Grande apparently took Dalton Gomez on several double dates with Ethan Slater and Lily J before she and Ethan started dating. That's damning. How about another one? Page 6 articles with fellow Wicked cast members stating such things as, and I quote, they were sloppy on set, and quote, they were seen being all over each other while he was still supposedly happily married to Lily. Bad press can be a hell hell of a relationship killer. Look at Taylor Swift and Matt Healy, who were forced to split because Taylor's PR team literally couldn't risk the amount of boycott that the pop singer was receiving from fans over Healy's racial comments and anti-Jewish sentiments. Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez are barely surviving so far, and it's only because you catch Selena online almost every day trying to beat people off with the negativity stick for commentary. Once bad press starts, it's hard to stop, and this couple has been enshrouded since day one. They aren't so Hollywood elite that it's the type that'll just vanish overnight either, and this will continue to haunt this pair. It will always be in articles about them. It's gonna be brought up in every interview, even when it's not relevant anymore. This is the type of Hollywood affair that once it's publicized and highly condemned, people aren't satisfied until the pair is split and will remind them of their misgivings until it happens, even if it's 10 years down the line. Honestly, that's not a great sign for a long-lasting couple. And neither's our last segment. This couple is rushing like crazy, and their friends know it, their family know it, even they know it. Ethan Slater's homies even have an exclusive article interview wherein they're quoted to be worried that Ariana Grande will break his heart. Honestly, if she does, he does deserve it, same vice versa. Neither of them are good people, and their love for one another has had a lot of collateral heartbreaks for others. You reap what you sow. But anyways, the co-stars are very much in love, a source exclusively reveals in a new issue of Us Weekly, but the relationship has Slater's friends feeling skeptical. To quote, they're worried she'll break his heart, as stated. Meanwhile, on the other end, source told National Enquirer, quote, Ariana falls hard and fast. That's who she is, but that doesn't stop her friends from worrying. To quote, everyone is telling her to slow down before she makes another mistake, but she is that girl who can never stay single for long, they added. The singer, however, reportedly even put serious restrictions on her BFFs. She doesn't want anyone talking to the media about her and Slater in any capacity. To quote, Ariana has asked all her friends not to talk about it, at least not until both of them are officially divorced, the source concluded. And that's because while Ariana is amicably settled or divorced from Dalton Gomez, Slater's still dealing with the delicate details, including the custody of his now one-year-old son with ex-wife Lily. Custody is difficult, especially because Slater bailed in the first few months of his child's life. Everything is riding in Lily J's favor, especially given that Ethan's actions can be used against him in custody hearings, as can the fact that he's moved into Ariana Grande's house after only knowing her a mere few months. After all, the delicate details are at stake, right? And that's a child's life. The couple reportedly moved in together in September, less than 2 months after Ethan filed for divorce from his wife, and with Ariana's own legal proceedings yet to even begin after splitting from husband Dalton Gomez at the time. According to a source from Us Weekly, as of October, Slater and Grande are living together in New York. The source revealed that he informed his friends and soon-to-be ex-wife Lily that he's living with Ariana full-time. The two have only known each other for less than a year and only romantically started being connected in March, but that doesn't seem to matter to the couple. Slater and Grande's living situation seems to prove that they are in it for the long haul, whether people like it or not, or whether they're thinking about future repercussions or not.